Hello and happy Thursday. Welcome to our first What's New, What's Coming webinar of 2022. Thank you all for joining us. To our current customers, we are very excited to share what we've been working on for you and what's to come in the near future, as well as some updates regarding our customer success initiatives. All right. For those of you that are not customers and maybe not as familiar with SmartVault, we always like to give a quick overview. SmartVault is a secure cloud-based document management and file storage system built for the security, compliance, and workflow needs of business professionals. The What's New, What's Coming webinar is a series of quarterly webinars designed to share our recently launched features, updates to existing features, as well as additions soon to be added to our product. You'll have myself, Rachel Montana, Global Director of Marketing, as your moderator. And we're happy to have Daniel Fritz, our Director of Product, and Nick Tyson, Global Director of Customer Success, to deep dive into pertinent updates around both features and services. All right.
So hold on, Rachel. I think we need to, a couple of people give us a thumbs up or a chat if you guys can hear us. There's a couple of people that can't hear us in the chat over here. So we want to make sure that everybody can hear us before we get too far in there. All right, fantastic. We're in great shape here.
Good.
So thank you guys. We just wanted to make sure a couple of the people, if you are, make sure that you guys are hitting in that join audio. So sorry to interrupt, Rachel. Just wanted to make sure everybody can hear us.
Good call. All right, so let's talk about what we'll be covering today. We have several updates to features live since our last webinar. We'll talk through those updates as well as what's soon to come, including a demo of our new client management UI. We have feature spotlights we'll talk through and how those features can help streamline your workflow and save you time in your day. And then we'll go over to Nick to talk about customer success updates and then wrap things up with a couple of poll questions and a Q&A session. So please feel free to send your questions through at any time. We'll get to them at the end of the webinar and we'll get through as many as possible. So before we get started, I just want to give a quick reminder of SmartVault's mission statement, which is to make people happy and productive. All of these updates we'll be going over are in support of that mission. And on that note, we love hearing feedback from our customers, both what you love about SmartVault and what we could do to make you more happy and productive. So in an effort to stay on that path, our development team created the SmartVault Idea Portal at ideas.smartvault.com. And this is where our customers can go in and vote on product enhancements, view what other SmartVault customers think about top ideas, and contribute to our roadmap. So we've had quite a few heavy-hitting features stem from this portal, including email capture, archive clients, shared folder indicators, and request docs. So if you have the time, we would absolutely love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
All right, so now I'll pass things over to Daniel to jump into the more exciting topics of our new feature releases.
All right, give me 1 second and we're gonna get this back up. So as we jump in, hopefully, can you guys see my screen all right? Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about what's new. You know, we do this, as Rachel mentioned, every quarter. And so for me, as the director of products here, it's one of the great joys that I get to do is kind of talk about what we have coming live and new. And mentioned first and foremost, we have the new client management technology up. You see a before and after picture there. It's very polarly different. And most importantly, from our perspective, the client management redo of the UI is so much more functional. And whenever we are making these UI changes, as you guys know, this has been a theme for the last year or so, it is very at the top of our mind to make sure that this is something that not only looks great and is lovable as a software, but is super functional, because I have a saying internally that successful customers are going to be the lifeblood of SmartVault, and they're the ones that are going to stick around and stay with us. So this is going to be really, really cool. It's available for all of our what we call structured plans. I know that's an internal term, but what it means is that if you have the ability to create clients within your SmartVault account, this is where this is going to apply. We do have some unstructured accounts that are just a simple file structure. Some of our older accounts, you guys can always upgrade and utilize and interact with Nick's team in order to get you guys there. This is now available, and I will talk about how to turn it on. There's a couple different ways to see this, which is which is really cool. You have to be on our most recent view preference. So as I go into the demonstration here in just a few minutes, I'll actually go through how you get to that. So next up is one of the cool things that we are working on right now is something called Certified Vault. Now, for the lifeblood of SmartVault, we've been focused really heavily on anybody that has a document style workflow. And our team and some prospects that had come to us about a year ago had brought this idea of authoritative copies. So there are some uniform commercial code guidelines that dictate what type of contracts and agreements can actually have a monetary value to them. And what we did in early part of 2021 is we added something called Certified Vault, and that allows you to leverage the partnership that we have with DocuSign to create a contract. We see this a lot in loan processing, if you're a bank, mortgages. Also, we see a lot of security companies with their capabilities of having a lot of contracts that have monetary value. So you can get those in utilizing our existing process. And what we've done is took a step further here. So, and what that allows us to do is, say we have a file cabinet of these old contracts, or you just have paper copies somewhere, you can scan those in and we can migrate utilizing a legal process to get those into SmartVault, which is really, really powerful. It allows you to actually convert from a physical record into a digital record. And at the same token, if you already have your assets in a digital format, we can actually migrate them into the certified vault. So we support those from various storage mediums and get those into the certified vault. Really excited. This is now available with anybody who has certified vault, and to utilize this migration, you're going to work again with that awesome customer success team. Awesome. And then notifications, as we get into a busy part of our season, with the tax season kicking off, we have done a lot of work on the structural side of SmartVault to ensure that all of our accounts are getting the notifications that you guys have configured. So with this, we have bolstered a lot of the back-end technology that runs this. We have also made code-based improvements to make sure that we don't get bogged down or anything with our notifications. Just some numbers here for everybody just to kind of be interested about it. So we have over 30,000 paying users of SmartVault, and your clients, which are the free guest accounts that we have, account for almost 1.8 million SmartVault accounts. And so you think about that, we've got 1.8 million people providing documents to you as users or potential prospects. We are quite a large scale organization. And with that, we process nearly 4 million files, are uploaded, downloaded per day. And that is a lot of notifications that go out. So included in every single account, this is now actively running. We have the notifications in a state where we are scalable, and we are going to make sure that no one gets any type of impact with those. So we're very, very excited about these changes. And this has just been in the last 3 months. These are the things that we have rolled out. Frankly, from my perspective, let's jump into the actual demonstration itself. So I'm going to drag over my standard homepage here. Now, of course, this is a demonstration. Tyson and Associates, our own Nick Tyson's CPA firm here. Let's first talk about how you turn this on. If you are in the old school legacy view and you clear your cache, there's going to be a big old banner across the top. Just release, find out what you need is more simple than ever with our new home screen. You can hit this Explore Now, and it'll automatically change that view preference for you. This is going to land you into our new React-based, very cutting-edge technology framework. If you don't have that as a option, you can jump into Settings. Now, the settings in the old view will be these two areas up here with the gear and the person. You're going to want to hit this person and choose this third from the bottom on the right, the View Preferences area. This is going to take you to a screen where you can change to this 2020 new view, and you're going to want to jump into that. Save those changes. A lot of people don't know this, but hey, your logo, or if you're still using the default SmartVault logo, this is actually a home button that takes you right to this home page.
I do want to jump in just really quickly and say, if you weren't able to jot down those instructions, we will be sending a copy of this webinar afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And so let's jump into the client management realm. So along this left navigation, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I zoomed out a bit. Sorry, guys. Along this left side menu, you see client management. So as I dive into here, this will populate with your entire customer list. There's no conversion that you have to do if you're on the old version. Once you switch to the new view, everything is going to be here. And most importantly for us is the presentation of certain information that was kind of hidden down in the old views. So for example, the biggest one that we see having the most impact is this ID right here. So you see CH127 here for Chambers LLC. That is, I have that linked up to my Lacert. So when I pull over, create a contact from Lacert, that is pulling over. Or when you create a new client, you're able to display that client ID right away. So the other information, you can access their direct vault straight away. And some of the feedback that I've been getting through our ideas portal, through our features at smartvault.com is asking, hey, I don't want to navigate through the files and folders. Is there a better way, a faster way to get at that information? And I would recommend utilizing the following workflow. So if you dive into client management and then you search, so I can search for myself here, and it's going to pull up, this is a name-based search. And this way you can go directly to my area in my vault within SmartVault. So as I click into this, it is going to jump me in here. Here's all of my information. You can see those shared folder indicators. Shout out to that ideas portal. You can clearly see over here that this has a different indicator than what we see in the permanent files. That's going to show that this client, in my case, myself, has access to these folders. Now, as we come back over here, you can actually dive into this information and see more detailed approach on this individual user. So here I can see the various contacts. We have added a capability of assigning a primary contact to both individuals and our entities. You can look at the individual engagements, create engagements from here, look at any type of projects, and if you're in the tax-based workflow, we have the tax returns, organizers, and financials. In the assigned employees realm, this is where you have the capability of assigning employees of your firm directly to these clients. And that is a really simplistic process. You can see I only have myself in this basic account, and you can determine whether they're going to be a firm manager or a firm employee. I see a couple questions asking for a little bit of clarity around what is a firm manager, what is a firm employee. We have about 5 different tiers of user states. We have an admin who can see everything, and that's what I am interacting as. We have the account employees that have all of the management functionality, but just not the billing and associated payments. And then we have assigned employees. Those can be assigned just like you see on the screen, and then be given these clarifying firm employee or firm manager clarifiers. So you can be a firm manager, which means you have more permissions to control the actual accessibility of a vault, or a firm employee just means, hey, you're assigned to that. And quick to note that if you're an account employee, you can see every client. If you're an assigned employee, you can only see those clients of which you're assigned to. So we'll go ahead and save that. And so if you have a larger firm, you can divvy out your clients and say, hey, I want Rachel to work on this. I want Nick to work on this group of clients. And it makes it really easy for you guys to push that in. Excellent. So let's dive in a few other areas here. I can go directly again to the vault. I can invite this client. In my case, I'm already invited. But let's talk about adding a new client. And I'm going to go showcase how you set that primary. So as I click this add new client realm, you're going to have a standard bullet choice between our entity and our persons. This is going to change the type qualifiers that are available for you. Remember, a type qualifier is just something that is clarifying if it's an entity, like a corporate entity, you might want to be an S Corp, an estate, non-resident, etc. And a person is going to be something more along the individual route, maybe a probate that is more individually based versus a company. So we'll stick into this, and I'm just going to create Rachel as one of our people here. Now you can add a contact to this, and I'm just going to say, hey, we've got Rachel. And what I have the capability of doing is by adding this, they're going to become that primary contact. Or if you're utilizing an entity, you can set it as primary right here. So we'll do Rachel Montana, and we'll do a client name of Montana LLC. And of course, I could put in those wonderful client IDs. You can choose a preparer. You can put in an email address here or add an email down here, which we will just go ahead and put in hers at smartvault.com. Now, once you have filled out all of the required fields, you actually have two options here. You can save, which is the historic way of thinking about adding clients to SmartVault, or you can go down this more actions path. And this more actions allows us to have a really unique interaction and really pushing to speed you guys up. So as I choose more interactions, I can choose to go ahead and invite them. Instead of saving the client, navigating back to the client list page, selecting that client and choosing our invite option, which was indicated by a small little envelope, we can actually do that in quick succession. If you want to go ahead and add an engagement, you can do that as well. And I know that we've talked about the request docs in previous of these webinars. This is one of the cool things. We have a quick spotlight about it. I'm not going to divulge too much there, but you can also send that request docs all in the single action. So I can go ahead and proceed to these actions. I'm going to create the client, invite the client, and then go and trigger a request docs to be done. So excellent. With that, wanted to take a look at some of these questions, see if I have anything. Nothing quite yet that we're touching in on this area. So, and now I can see that Montana LLC, she is in the invited state, and now she's in the activated state. She's already clicked it on that end. So excellent. With that, let's go back to the slides themselves. Thank you guys so much. We're really excited about that feature and can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about it. So there was our let's see it in action slide. Now, for the main area here is what's coming. What's coming next? You know, we're moving seemingly as fast as we can. And one of the big things that I'm looking at doing, and we are looking at doing as an organization, is optimizing your day-to-day experience with SmartVault. So we mentioned some of those numbers: 30,000 users, 1.8 million collaborators in that realm. That's a pretty sizable software technology. And so for the next 6 months or so, we're going to be looking at ways to making this very efficient as we push through. So we're going to speed up some of those loading times. We're going to add functionality such as adding employees in bulk, especially if you have a large number of people coming in as seasonal workers. I know that Nick's going to talk a little bit about those, making it easier to get those people in faster, and also make sure that as we continue to enhance all of the plans of SmartVault, that we are doing it in a really efficient way to make sure that you guys are being impacted in that way. And as kind of part of that optimization is we have a lot of workflow improvements. We have so many on the docket. Frankly, we have the capability of I just couldn't put everything up on here, to be honest. So we're going to finalize some of that UI, a lot of mobile enabled tools. So if you guys haven't seen it, we actually made it to where the login screen is a lot more user-friendly on your phone. You can have your customers log in. It's not really small anymore. It's actually fit to the screen. We've already added, it's actually live to as of last week, you can actually provide a link. So if you're sending a custom email to someone, you can go to the request docs that you've already sent them, grab that link and say, hey, Rachel, I need these files from you directly. Please use this link. And that really just makes it efficient. That's one of those things, if you've been on some of our Liscio webinars with Chris and I, we've talked a lot about that. Being able to provide that through Liscio speeds up that process, makes you guys save that time and money. So as we look at this, we want to make our sharing tools easier, and we're also going to be adding some of those auto file enhancements to make it even easier to get from various we're going to add those autofile to the various tax technologies that are beyond the Intuit, Lacert, and Pro series that we integrate with today. And of course, we're going to be adding some more integrations, things like Xero integration, Zapier, and so on and so forth. So overall, we're really looking for a less clicks, better flow, and just more integrations to fit in with the areas that you guys need. And lastly, of course, with this, we're going to improve on request docs. I want to be able to add questions, as you can see on the screenshot on the right. Have there been any changes in dependence? Yes or no, adding a comment. I just want to point out today, you can put in a question and just put in parentheses, say, don't upload a file here, just fill in the comments below. And you can get some information directly. It's one of the cool ways that you can use request docs, but we want to make that as a true functionality, have live edits. So if you need to remove a question or add a question to an individual, you can do that. And also being able to go about it a different way. So if you bulk add a bunch of clients, then you can actually create a bulk number of request docs at the same time. So really excited about some of these changes. And as far as feature spotlights, let's talk a little bit about request docs. So the old way is really chasing down those documents. You're emailing your customers, texting them, sending postal mails like, hey, have you downloaded your organizer? Have you gotten the information that we need? And also an unsung hero about this is that in previous tax seasons, you guys have been watching those email notifications that are coming in, and you see tons of documents being uploaded. With request docs, it allows you to see that in an organized fashion by an individual, and you as a admin of SmartVault are going to get an email that kind of talks you through and says, look, we have gotten everything and this has been submitted. It's a work list within SmartVault itself that allows you to make sure that you have everything you need before you get started, again, saving you guys time. And once you guys are able to save the time there, let's save even more time with our DocuSign integration. If you guys need to get 8878s, 8879 signed beforehand, send those electronically. We have an awesome new DocuSign subscription that we can offer, and that allows you to use as much as you need. You don't have to manage how many envelopes do I have. You don't have to be interrupted in your workflow. It's just a set per user per month cost for everybody within your practice. And that allows you to make sure that you're not hindered. Most importantly, your staff isn't hindered. You know, say you're off doing something with your kids, doing something with your family, and then you're expecting your team to be sending these e-signatures and they run out. Then you're impacted. Then you have to log in, figure out, okay, it's been 6 months since I've talked to Nick's team. How do I add these things again? But with DocuSign subscription, it makes it really simplistic. So with that, once you get your tax returns, signing either directly from our web portal or our connected desktop. So with all of that, I will pass things over to Nick, and Nick will talk about some of the awesome things that he and his organization are doing it. And real quick, before you start, Nick, there's a couple questions. How much is DocuSign? It's $10 per user per month for our subscription. And we do have a pay-as-you-go model as well. So Angela, Charles, I see you guys. And if we haven't answered your questions, we're going to get to them. I promise. If we run out of time, we will respond back to them over time. So
yeah, there's quite a few questions pouring, and we will have a Q&A at the end where we'll go over questions. And for all the ones we can't get to, everyone's question will be answered. We'll answer by email. And just real quick before Nick jumps in, I know Daniel was talking a lot about request docs and how that can be helpful in your workflow. We're not leaving you just to tell you that feature is there. We are also, well, Nick's team is offering webinars to walk you through that process and show you how to do it, and he'll go over that more as well, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, awesome. Go ahead and take it away, Nick. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you, everyone's on this call. You know, it's really exciting. As an organization this week, we've been looking at the numbers tick up and up and up, the amount of people that have been signing up for this webinar today. So we were really excited to be able to speak with everyone today. So can everyone see my screen okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, great. Can I use this correctly? That's the real question. There we go. Right. So SmartVault as a platform, you know, we serve an array of business professionals across many different industries. And specifically within that base, we have a vast number of accounting businesses around the US that are now experiencing their busiest time of the year. So to provide you all with a little extra support during this time, we've extended our support hours to include Saturday support through the end of tax season. So we'll have our support team available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturdays. So please do not hesitate to reach out to them if you need any help, and we'll talk more about how you can go about doing that in a second. So speaking of support, to get to our support, visit help.smartvault.com. Again, that's help.smartvault.com. There you'll be able to find articles, videos, and also be able to interact with our chat bot. that can answer most questions for you and your collaborators. And as a reminder, the fastest way to get to our support is by our chat or email directly into our team. Now, what I'd like to do is highlight some of the educational resources that we have available for all customers. First, SmartVault Academy. This is a learning platform where you can learn the fundamentals of SmartVault. This is done by a comprehensive and easy video and question quiz format to test your knowledge. And at the end of it, you get a SmartVault badge of completion as well. So you could be able to go in for you or any of your users, go in for free and sign up for that specific training. Second, as Rachel mentioned, we have weekly educational webinars on every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These free webinars are ran by members of the customer success team and go through the fundamentals of SmartVault, new features such as request docs, as Daniel mentioned earlier. And you can find both these free services, webinars, and SmartVault Academy by going to help.smartvault.com under Explore More section. Simply click in and it will give you the instruction on how to sign up for both of these services, both the SmartVault Academy and the educational webinars every single week. And now I'd like to talk about something that's really exciting, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a while. Well, coming soon, we're gonna have a new SmartVault community. This is something where we're currently working on. It's gonna be available Q3 of 2022. But this community will be a place where SmartVault customers to interact with each other, learn best practices, and get their questions answered, and much more. As right now, we're kind of building the infrastructure for the community as we speak, but be on the lookout for a survey coming from customer success to ask you guys what topics you would like to talk about inside this forum at the beginning of you create this community. This is going to be exciting to be able to, again, talk to many different SmartVault customers across different industries within the SmartVault community. Next, what I'd like to do is talk about two offerings that we have for our customers. Smart Hours, and seasonal workers. So if you've been with SmartVault for a while and would like to have a one-on-one training session with a member of our customer success team, a Smart Hour is the way for you. This service will allow you to meet with a customer success manager, and then they'll discuss your specific training needs and create a customized training agenda based on the needs you guys discuss. If you're interested in that service, send an email to customersuccess@smartvault.com, and a member of customer success will reach out to you and start that process for you. And as Daniel mentioned, we have a lot of customers right now in the accounting space that are increasing their employees in this busy time of the year. So if so, you should purchase a few of our seasonal worker licenses. This unique license is only $99 and that allows you to utilize the full features and functionality, all the things that Daniel talked about earlier today from January to June 30th. And we made that available to June 30th. It used to be April 15th, but we know through the pandemic, we've extended tax season here in the US the last year, I think 2 years now.
Last 2 years, yeah.
The years are messing with me, right? How long we've been in the COVID pandemic. So about 2 years now. So we were unsure of what we were going to do this year, but just to make sure, we extended now for June 30th. So again, if you're interested in purchasing one of those seasonal worker licenses, send an email to customersuccess@smartvault.com. Again, a member of customer success will reach out to you and assist you in purchasing that seasonal worker license and getting them up and running. All right, and now what I like to do is give it back over to Rachel, and she'll go to our poll question.
All right, Rachel, you are presenter now, and so you can kick off that poll question for us. Poll number 1. Oh, you're muted in some way, shape, or form. We can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. Now we can
Perfect.
hear you. Perfect.
All right, we have 3 poll questions for you. The first is, which features brought the most impact to your organization last year? Request docs, UI updates, email capture plugin, or archive vaults?
Yeah, really looking forward to some of these things because internally, for me, a lot of these things represent kind of different like new features versus functionality workflow. The email is a kind of a new integration type piece, and archive clients just really cleaning up your workflow. And so this will really help us drive our roadmap into other features in that capacity. So what we'll do is we'll keep the poll open for about another 15 or so seconds and whatnot. This way we can close the poll and we can get on to our second polling question. But for me, what's really exciting about this poll is it gives us insight there. So it looks like we've already closed that one. Let's go ahead and kick off the second one, Rachel.
Perfect. Yep, along those lines, which workflow integration would make the most impact in your workflow? An Office 365 plugin, Zapier, Xero, or a payment gateway? So
Yeah, I'll
again,
be honest.
go ahead.
Lots of no surprise here. Lots of people jumping in. We've got over 70% that are pushing that Office 365 plugin. Yeah, I think one of the big benefits if we do something along those lines is that it allows you when you're in Office to hit save and choose SmartVault as a location. That way it kind of cuts some of that question out about whether or not am I saving this document in the right place? Am I being safe and secure? Especially with that like Office, you could save it directly to SmartVault and make sure that you guys are safe. So excellent.
Perfect. All right, close that out. And then just one more question for you. For those of you on today who are not current customers, would you like to see a custom demo of SmartVault?
Excellent. We got about 10% of you guys that are new and not using SmartVault. That's really, really exciting. Yeah, 10%. Man, thank you guys for taking time out of your day. We can't thank you guys enough. We love what we do here, and this is just super exciting for us. I'm seeing a couple of the questions as we're going to close out that poll. I'll go ahead and get kicked into there. I see one around ProConnect. Yes, absolutely. We are working with them. They are prioritizing document storage in that cloud environment. Definitely see a big appetite for that. People who have been on Lacert for a long time, ready to get into the cloud on their applications as well, not just SmartVault. That's going to be getting up there.
Yep.
Let's see.
I've got one for you, Fritz.
Go for it.
Shelly, she is one of our new SmartVault users, first tax season use. Welcome, Shelly. Once a client has activated their SmartVault account, if we add them as a contact with the same email address to a new entity, do we have to re-invite them from the SmartVault, or will the vault automatically populate in their SmartVault the next time they log in?
So let me clarify there. If it's on a different entity, you would probably want to invite them because that's going to make them connected there. But if you are adding them directly to that vault, then yes, they would have access to it kind of out of the box.
All right, what is a quick way to see the client's view in their vault?
As far as what they can see individually, are you asking, like that would be my question there. Utilizing the shared folder indicators is probably the best way to see exactly what they can see. So if you utilize the new client management, search for a customer and then open their vault, you can see the shared folder indicators. Anything that has those two people in the shared indicator, that's what they can see. If you want to experience a guest account for yourself, your client's account, add your Gmail, add your own account, and then you can actually see and interact so that you can be speaking a little bit higher to there.
Another one for you, Fritz. We've seen the shortcut bar a few times. How do we add and delete shortcuts from there?
Oh, sure. So let's go to the next question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up that in a second. I got logged out on the back end, so I can answer another question before we dive into that one.
That works. Is the client ID auto-generated by Lacert and or SmartVault?
No. So when you're in Lacert and you create a new client, the first thing it's going to do is ask you for a client ID. And when you print a tax return or an organizer for that specific client and it gets input into SmartVault, it's going to create that client ID. And then if you create your own and then you edit that client ID, just know that you need to make sure if you are using Lacert, you need to make sure that those match because you can't edit a client ID afterwards. So let me take over the screen real quick. And what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of go through that shortcut workflow. So here, standard, same exact account that I was just in. The way that you add it is you simply choose add a shortcut. Now, if you have multiple accounts, they'll show up here, but you can dive down and go into your individual clients. We'll create one to myself in my area. So I have this Daniel Fritz account here, and I can say, hey, I want to get access to their 2021 tax folder. I could dive in and choose an individual one if I would like, but I'm just going to keep it as a very high level one, and I'm going to save that. Now, once you get to this realm, you're actually able to edit this and add, say, hey, this is Fritz's TY21. So it's a little bit more descriptive up here. And so now once this is populated, and if you add more, it'll actually have a little plus sign and you can see all of them. This is really useful in the areas of an assigned user, a person who's really dedicated to a small number of accounts. You can click into this and it's going to take me directly to that folder area. And so again, from that perspective, you can see the added indicators here. So if I were to log in on my actual client's view, I would only see these 4 folders because those are the ones that have that indicator.
Perfect. All right. Does the document request feature have auto email reminders?
Not auto email reminders. However, if you are in request docs, which I had sent myself one a couple days ago, you can come in here and choose send reminders. The automated kind of a scheduled reminder area is one of those things that we're looking into for request docs version 2.
All right, this is a good question. Will clients have access to their folders if their vault is archived?
Yes. Yes and no, actually. So you can make that choice. So when you do archive somebody, and we'll keep on picking on my accounts here, I can come here and simply archive the client, which is this one in red, and it's going to ask me, I'm going to choose one that is actually invited and has access. So when I archive, it's going to ask me, do you want to preserve access for that user, or do you want to remove client access? I know we talked about this in one of our previous webinars, but when you do archive somebody, they are still going to live inside of your files and folders exactly as they are today. And any type of changes that you do to your templates, to your engagements, will all allow them to stay up to date. So if you have that client come back to you, you can actually restore access a lot easier, and you have the ability to preserve it or remove it with those people.
Got it. All right. Will there ever be a search for document?
Yes, absolutely. We want to, that's one of those big longer term features that takes quite a bit of effort and time to get to. It's definitely on our roadmap. We want to do it. It's not something that we're going to be able to do in the next 3 months. That's a little bit more structural. We have to index a lot of those areas. Not to get into too much detail, but that's absolutely something we want to do. And even more so than that, I'm very interested in being able to type into a master search that says, hey, I want Daniel Fritz's W-2 from 2019 and hit enter and find that. That's where we go.
Perfect. All right. And what is the best practice for adding a generic organizer to all client folders?
So if you're using Lacert, you can use the print organizer functionality. Otherwise, we don't have a good way of just saying like, hey, I want to put this in every single person's account. What you can do is leverage our public documents folder. So as I navigate on this left side into view files and folders and go into the firm container, you can actually have public documents here and input that generic organizer there. That way, anybody can see that, anybody can access it, and you can actually roll that out. That's a great question.
Gotcha. All right. Maybe this has been answered, but is there any planned integration with UltraTax?
So we are always open to integrating with any application. I know that UltraTax has a really cool workflow that we do work with. One of the things that we are pushing for is that auto filing workflow tool that I mentioned in the presentation. I want to be able to take a file, put it into SmartVault, and SmartVault be smart enough utilizing some of that machine learning tools to get it into the right area. So if I have a document, all of us on this call, if I say, hey, here's Daniel Fritz 2021, tax return, most of us on the call understand what that is, but to a computer, that's just a file. We want to train SmartVault to say, okay, this is Daniel Fritz. I have a Daniel Fritz client. This is their tax return for 2021. Let me put it in this specific folder.
Perfect. How do you restore an archived client?
Oh, that's a great question. what you do is you would navigate over to your settings area. This would either be like you see me here choosing the initials up in the top or choosing the gear. And along this left side, there's going to be a third option in this manage account section for archived clients. I'm not going to have any in this example here, but if I did had I taken the action earlier and archived myself, I would then have the option to restore a client, and it's a selecting box here on the left, and I would be able to restore them. So you can see it's not active on this screen, but that's the actions you would take.
Is there a way to reopen request docs tax engagement after the client hits the submit button? And how can I change the client ID?
So like I mentioned earlier, the client ID is not something that you can edit. One of my recommendations would be to create a second client and then merge them and choose which one is the parent. As far as reopening a request doc, we don't have that functionality today. That is part of that request docs version 2 that I mentioned earlier. One of the things that I want to note for everyone on the call, if you're using request docs and you send a second request docs for the same tax year, so for example, a tax engagement for 21, that gets submitted, but there's something that's missing or wrong, you can always resubmit the same for the same engagement, but you can utilize this different template. You can go into the request docs templates, edit those to be the specific question that you're looking for. That takes a little bit of time, but it makes it really, we make it pretty quick.
All right, Annette, I know you asked, please show how to use request docs. I haven't used that before. We do have a webinar that will walk you through. Well, actually, Nick, if you want to talk through that.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, and actually, can I share my screen? Can I do
Yeah.
that? Let me do something. Let me see something quick. Share screen two.
All yours, Nick.
Is everyone seeing my screen okay?
It looks like
We
it's your
see
desktop.
desktop background.
Oh, that's the reason why. How about now?
Now we can, yes, we can see the
Okay,
help.smartvault.
yeah, so I saw a few questions about, hey, how do I get to the webinar? So again, I went to help.smartvault.com. That lands us on our help center. And then from here, under the Explore Now, go to webinar, sign up. And then from there, you can just choose which webinar you'd like to sign up for. Request docs. You can register for an upcoming one. It'll take you to our registration link. And there, our next one is going to be Wednesday, February 2nd, then February 16th for request docs. And we'll be putting some more in over the next few weeks. Is put your name in and then register. If you don't see it now, you can just simply click here and hit watch pre-recorded webinar. You can get it kind of on demand that way. Same thing with DocuSign, all of our what's coming new, what's coming webinar series, as well as the trainings as well.
All right, and then Daniel, back to you. How do you merge clients and how do you unmerge files? Oh, nope. How do you merge clients and how do you merge files?
So all that merging is done simultaneously. So let me reshare here. I'll make myself the presenter, Nick. Thanks. So if I were to have two Daniel Fritz's here, or say that these were the ones that needed to be merged, once you select two, you can simply choose this and say merge clients. And it's going to tell you which one of these, it's going to merge all of the files and the information from both clients into the selected one. So if I say, hey, I'm the actual one, this is the merge action that's going to be taken. And then at this point, Michael Fredrickson is going to disappear. And now there might be some errors that you see right here because the tax IDs and the client's name aren't going to match. You would need to do some editing and changing. So we want to make sure that you can't do this on accident, but at the same time, we do have that capability.
Perfect. All right, Nick, I have one for you. How do I add the DocuSign subscription?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you would do is you can go, I guess, Dan, you want to walk through it? How you can
I'll
do
go
it?
through it.
Yep. So you go to your kind of DF settings, then you'll go to the billing option there. And then this is on our new billing portal that all customers will get moved to later on this year. New customers, you'll see this. And as it loads up, there'll be an option here where you can go, maybe at the refresh.
Yeah. might be this. I put a few kind of clarifiers. How about this? What I'll do is I'll log out of this one and I'm going to go into a more production level account.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to walk you through it, but simply you're going to go to the billing page. He's going to ask you DocuSign pay as you go or DocuSign as a subscription. You click on it, and then you can sign up. Also, too, you can easily reach out to customer success at smartvault.com. That will go directly to the customer success team, and they can help you walk through it as well.
Perfect. Well, on that note, Nick, Dorothy has a question.
Hey,
With
Dorothy.
DocuSign, $10 per user per month, does this mean as a single user, I have unlimited documents signed, or does this mean $10 per user per signature gathered?
Unlimited document sign.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure we have some clarity there. Great question, Dorothy. All right,
Yes.
and then Daniel, back to you. Will you
All
go
right,
over?
sorry. Here we go. Real quick.
Oh.
This is the older billing solution. Here you have the enable DocuSign as a subscription. You click this checkbox. It's going to auto-populate this number for you. And in the new one, you're just going to choose edit subscription and add-ons, and you're going to select it there. So next question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Will you go over how to see and control who has access to files and folders?
Yes, give me 1 second. And just for clarity here, I got this one working. So I would edit this subscription and add an add-on for DocuSign as a subscription. So in this case, I don't have the DocuSign enabled right now on this account, but it would be one of these selections. So as far as managing permissions on an individual account, one of the ways that we really recommend doing that is leveraging our folder templates. So you can choose this manage folder templates, set folder templates right here. This is going to open up the tools to set which groups and who has access. So this is kind of version 1, if you will. As I dive into the client template, it's going to give me options to say, hey, in the correspondence, who has access to this? Maybe I want to give my client contacts access, and maybe I want to be able to provide them read, write, and delete access. On an individual basis, if you don't want to leverage the templates in order to do that, and you're just going to manage that, you would go to the folder in question. And so we'll just use this internal documents, and you go to these properties. Here, you're going to be able to have control over access and notifications. So you can see here that I have 2 guest licenses with my Rachel that we invited during the webinar and one of my other accounts here. So you would simply edit the access setting and add a user right here. So adding a user, putting in their name, their email, what kind of license they would have, and then giving them a certain level of access.
All right, here's a quick one for you, Fred. This was probably addressed, but when is the expected release date for the Request Docs version 2?
We're looking at probably around the April timeframe right now. So we're gonna do a little bit of internal stuff. We might be reaching out to some of you guys, clarifying, make sure that what we're doing is beneficial. We also wanted to run with Request Docs as it is, learn as much as we can during this tax season, since this is the first tax season where we have Request Docs, and then make iterations on there.
All right, and then I have a 2-part for you, Nick, and we'll wrap it up. Again, if we have not answered your questions, there were quite a few that came through, we will absolutely get to them. So Nick, does the $10 per month DocuSign include KBAs? And for the per user DocuSign subscription, do all users have to be signed up for this, or can you select only a few for the subscription?
Yeah, so KBAs are not included in the $10 per user DocuSign as a subscription. So you will still need to purchase KBAs individually. And the second question, yes, the way the subscription works, every member of your SmartVault account will have to sign up for DocuSign as a subscription. So for example, if you have 5 users, it'll be $50 per month for all of them. You can't designate only specific users to have DocuSign as a subscription.
Perfect.
Say that 3 times fast.
Thanks. All right, for those questions we weren't able to get to, we will be following up with responses by email. A recording of this webinar will also go out to everyone who registered, whether you actually attended or not. We'll send that out by end of day tomorrow. Again, thank you all for joining us today. We truly appreciate and value your time and hope you have a fantastic rest of the day and look forward to the next webinar with you all. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.